You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
Welcome inside Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're in Old Forge, Lackawanna County. Tonight, it's a Lackawanna football conference clash between two old rivals as Dunmore takes on our number 3 team in the Friday Night Rivals Top 10 Countdown, Old Forge. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide. Hannah O'Reilly will join us shortly on the sidelines. And former Tunkhannock area coach Jan Cechak joins me once again.
Thank you, Bob.
This is a rock'em sock'em, old time. Hit 'em where you got 'em. Love these kind of football games between two storied programs between Dunmore and Old Forge.
Dunmore and Old Forge, they've won 21 combined division titles. This is a classic. Get it done in the front lines, and who's ever the last man standing is going to be the winner.
Let's talk about Dunmore first. They did find some offense a little bit in their 20-2 loss at Western Wayne, but the defense showed up, and our Toyota Spotlight player, Zakai Rosario, had a nice game.
He had a tremendous game, and talking with Coach McHale pregame, he said he wishes he had him for another year. Last week he had 12 solo tackles and led that defense and kept that game closer than it seemed.
Old Forge, meantime, needed great specialties to pull out a 40-29 win over Mid-Valley. James Sobel, the quarterback, ran for 150 yards. But I think tonight they're going to need a big game from running back Hezekiah Dietz, and he's their other Toyota Spotlight player.
Hezekiah did a tremendous job for them last week. He had 2 touchdowns. More importantly, he had one of the game-winning touchdowns on defense from his defensive end where he juggled it in, going in towards the end zone, and he did a tremendous job, and he had 6 solo tackles.
Beautiful night for high school football. Let's see if this weather will continue all weekend. Let's go down now to Ali Debicki from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hey there, everybody. Here's your Friday Night Rivals forecast for Dunmore at Old Forge. Going to be feeling much more fall-like as we head into the evening hours. Kickoff temperatures around the lower 70s, but as we head into halftime, we should be in the middle 60s with a few clouds here and there. Dry conditions, a big improvement from where we were earlier this week with all that rain. And by the end of game, we'll be into the middle 50s. Winds should be calm, so you won't be needing any extra layers for the most part. But just bear in mind, it is going to feel a little bit cooler than those summer months we've been experiencing. We're going to send it over to the field. We'll have another update coming up later.
Thank you, Allie. It's the 71st meeting between the Bucks and the Blue Devils as Dunmore takes on our number 3 team, Old Forge. The kickoff is on the way.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
Welcome back on a beautiful night for high school football. We're in Old Forge. Ready to go, and here come the Dunmore Bucks. They take the field, looking for their first win on the season. And trying to make it 2-0, the Blue Devils from Old Forge. Back after a nice win over Mid-Valley right here on this field 1 week ago. Good crowd on hand. Might need a little bit of a jacket before you get to tonight's game. A little bit chilly, but this is perfect high school football weather. We talked about that. The sun's going to set, and this is what you want in the fall.
It's going to be a great Lackawanna County game right now. Coin toss just occurred, and we'll see who's going to receive.
So it looks like Dunmore will receive the ball. Kickoff from Old Forge, and Dunmore coming in looking for some kind of an offense. Coach, just 127 total yards last week in their game at Western Wayne. Before we get down to Hannah, we're going to take a moment and honor America with tonight's national anthem here at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Old Forge. As Jan and I just said, a beautiful night for high school football, but during this week, as everyone knows, not good weather in northeastern and central Pennsylvania, and it has affected some people around this area. And for more on that, let's go down to Hannah.
Yeah, Bob and Jan, as you know, it's been a rough couple of days around here. Northeastern Pennsylvania suffered from some of the remnants of Hurricane Ida, which left a lot of businesses and homes destroyed throughout the area. One of those businesses was actually Old Forge coach Mike Schubach's auto repair shop. He tells us it's been in his family for 60 years and has flooded up to 8 times. On top of that, one of the Old Forge players' mothers fell ill this week. So as you can imagine, it's been a rough past couple of days for these guys, but if the Blue Devils can pull a win out tonight, maybe that'll start to turn some things around. Bob and Jan?
Thank you, Hannah and Jan. Yeah, it's a 2-hour distraction tonight, and that's what it is. You put the real world behind you for a little bit, play a little football. Maybe it takes away some of what you're going through.
Again, it's a distraction, and it's a great distraction because the kids are focused, the coaches are focused, and they feed off of that focus that they have on each other at this point. And Coach Schubach was explaining all that stuff to us before the game, plus then to have one of the players' mothers fall ill like that, that's a lot on their plate.
So Dunmore will receive. It looks like Cal Toludo and Nico Ruggiero are back to receive. And here's tonight's referees. John Loomis will be the white hat. William Legg, Dave Brzezinski, Nick Gentilessa, Brian Rupp, and Joe Shaughnessy round out your Lackawanna Football Conference crew for tonight's high school football game and Friday Night Rivals. And we're underway. And the Krenitsky kick will go towards out of bounds. And it will. First flag of the night goes against Old Forge. So that means Dunmore Bucks will have the ball. And that means the quarterback taking the snaps, sophomore, 6'1", 180 pounds. Thomas Bowen. Bowen last week, just 8 completions for 47 yards, but last year he threw for 3 touchdowns and 404 yards overall.
And
5-yard penalty. We're going to start on the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Dunmore.
Hey, you just heard from our white hat official explaining the out-of-bounds kick. And Tommy Bowen last week, it was a rocky start. It was the first game. And as coaches, what we're looking for now is to see how they progress from week 1 to week 2. And I think he's going to feel more comfortable and more confident back there.
They need to find some kind of an offense. Just 80 yards rushing, 47 through the air, just 2 points, and that came off a safety, so no touchdowns. How do they find that tonight?
Again, they're going to just, talking to Coach McHale about that, and he just said we have young kids in some of our skill spots, and they just need that confidence and that boost.
Ruggiero tops the eye. He gets the ball, and the Old Forge defense comes in quickly for no gain on the call. So now here are your Dixon City Hyundai starting lineups for the Bucks. Ruggiero and Hickey gets the start at fullback tonight behind the quarterback, Bowen. Some good receivers, 2 sophomores in there with Vinny Benevoglia. And then the line, a lot of experience up there. Schmidt in the middle, and there you see just 1 sophomore, and that's Nathan Ruther. He's on the left-hand side, so they'll have to rely on that experience tonight. Ruggiero spins out of 1 tackle and picks up some positive yardage.
Bob, when you were mentioning that starting offense for the Bucks, you saw, here we go. They run with the trap play. There was nothing there because the old the Blue Devils are just so fast to the ball. They plugged the hole. He bounced to the outside for a very short gain.
Casey Holtzman, the junior, picks up the tackle. So early big third down on their first possession for the Bucks. They're going to stick with the run. They're going to try to hand it inside quickly to Hickey. Old Forge is right there.
And that was number 44, Angelo Fumonti, flying in there from his linebacker position to drop him for a loss.
Fumonti had an interception last week for a touchdown. I think it actually came off the special teams. And here you look at it again.
You'll see that, the way he just comes in, blows that up. He just took the running back's legs out from him and dropped him for that loss.
So 3 and out for Dunmore. Nicholas Piero does the punting. Low kick. Holtzman's just going to let it go, and it will die right around the 26-yard line, and that's where we'll see the Blue Devils as they take the field. Last week with a big win over Mid-Valley. And no, he is not a guard or a tackle. He is the quarterback. James Sobel is the quarterback, 5'11", 228. Put up some nice numbers. Even last year he had a great season.
He really does. I mean, he was 6 for 7 last week, 70 yards passing, and he ran for 150 yards with the touchdown on 12 attempts. He is so strong. Coach Schubeck couldn't sing his praises how hard this young man works in the weight room.
Start out in the eye. Experienced offensive line. Dietz with some positive yardage up front. Dunmore stops him after a 2-yard gain. So now your Dixon City Hyundai starting lineup, the offense for the Blue Devils, averaging 40 points per game. Dietz and Greenfield are in there. We'll see a lot of tailbacks come in and out all night long. Tallow, Holtzman, and Mikhailo are the receivers, and up front, a lot of experience and a bunch of size in there. And look out for those 3 juniors. They'll be back next year, and they're 3 of the better ones in the conference.
And talking to Coach Baradelli pregame, he said we still have a lot of youth up there, but they have experience, and they're expecting big things from them.
Spindler gets the carry. Loss on the play. Dunmore's defense rises to the occasion.
And you'll see this right there. Number 51 does a great job from his defensive end position, not giving grounds, and he read that, and he drops him right there at the line of scrimmage.
Evan Mikowski, the junior, had 3 total tackles in the game with Western Wayne, and we talked about that. The defense did play well against Western Wayne.
They really did, and that Western Wayne has a great running back in there with the Januszewski kid in there, and they did a nice job containing him, but they just couldn't get anything going offensively.
Sobel, first pass out to Holtzman. Makes a move, and Holtzman has speed on the outside. He's inside Buck territory, down to the 30-yard line. 44-yard gain.
This is one thing that Coach Schubeck said, that Sobel, he can throw darts, and he does. And look at Holtzman, break 2 tackles right there, comes in, reads it, and he's going to start weaving, gets a nice burst, weaves back to the inside, and again, gains that extra yardage. That was a great play and a great run by Holtzman.
So Holtzman last week had a catch for 23 yards. Overall, this Old Forge offense last week against the Spartans rushed for 310 yards. The one thing that Coach Schubeck wants to maybe cut down on are their penalties. They had 9 for 85 yards last week.
Those were mentals, yes.
So Dietz up the middle, but the Dunmore defense, which we'll check right now, is there for the stop. Up front, it's Ruther, Cesarini, Mikowski, and Marzocco who get the start up front for the Bucks. The linebackers very active, like they always are. Piga and DeVito, along with Rosario, we talked about in pregame. In the secondary, they'll be tested tonight. Crawley, Reyes, Toledo, and the other Reyes on the other side. The brothers get the start for the Bucks. So second down, call it 9. Play action. Sobel over the middle, but right there, Toledo comes over, gets a hand on it.
That was great pressure by Dunmore Bucks. They're playing a 5-man front, which is a little bit unusual for them, and they're putting a lot of pressure on. And you see Sobel just took a big hit, and great coverage by number 7 there. That was really by Cal Toledo. Nice coverage.
Dunmore has had success against Old Forge with that 5-man front. We talked about that earlier in the week when I was at practice with the Bucks. So they'll use that a lot tonight. They want to stop the running game and make Sobel go to the air. And he will on third down. He has a pocket to pass it.
What a pass and what a catch. I mean, that big offensive line is really doing a nice job keeping the Dunmore defensive line at bay, giving him a chance to throw these strikes in there.
So Simone makes the catch, but he comes up about 1 yard short. So the offense for the Blue Devils will stay on the field. Probably use this power game. Watch out for Greenfield, the big 230-pound fullback. He'll lead the way or get the ball. Or Sobel makes a quarterback sneak at 228 pounds. He gets a push from Greenfield behind him, and he gets up for about 4 yards.
Again, Bob, you just called that quarterback sneak. I told Coach Hyde up here in the box tonight does a great job with that. You'll see that he bounces that out a little bit wider. Most quarterbacks will try to go center guard gap. He went guard tackle gap and got that extra yard it needed.
So another figure law first down on this opening possession for the Blue Devils. It's a big pass, Sobel to Holtzman for 44 yards. Has the Devils inside the Allied Services red zone at about the 17-yard line. Some confusion on the field, Coach Schuback, and we have a timeout on the field right now from the Blue Devils with 5:59 remaining. So second game, trying to find the right personnel in there. Had to call an early timeout.
Do you know a student or a fan of tonight's game? Call them now and tell them they can watch on any computer, tablet, or smartphone, wherever they are. Tonight's game is being streamed on My TV Facebook page.
So the coaches for tonight's game, on the left, Coach Schuback, the veteran in this conference now, 20 seasons overall. Kevin McHale has been around a long time as well, but under Jack Henzis, his third season as the head coach, trying to keep that Bucks tradition alive, and they have. They keep winning district titles. Dunmore, if they get it this year, they've won 7 straight District 2 AA championships.
And like we said earlier, Bob, in our pregame show, between these two schools, 21 combined. So it seems like the road to single A or double A has to go through Old Forge or Dunmore.
And for the most part, they've played some very competitive games. Dunmore's won 4 straight in this series, including the one in 2019 on a field goal with 4 seconds left. So after the timeout, Sobel with time being pressured. The helmet comes off Rosario. He almost made the stop. It goes incomplete.
And you'll see that this is like an inside middle blitz, and he just is coming right there. He comes right off the edge, does a great job with the contact. His helmet pops off, and he continues to put that pressure on.
Coming up on the 9th play of this drive, it started on their own 26-yard line for the Blue Devils, who put up 40 last week against Mid-Valley. Stack receivers to the left. Sobel to look that way. Out of that, Holtzman comes back to make a nice catch in front of Crawley, and he'll be up for 12 yards inside the Allied Services. It's a figure law first down. First and goal, Blue Devils.
The Blue Devils lined up in the trips formation down here to the screen. They do just a little bit of a rub pattern where the two outside receivers are going to come inside. The inside receiver goes outside, and Sobel throws another strike in there. And Holtzman, boy, I'll tell you what, that was a great catch, great concentration, because that coverage by Liam Crawley out there was really tight.
So this time Spindler dots the I. They'll give it to number 4, but big number 51, Bukowski's there to stop it. About a yard, if that, inside the 5.
Joe Morzocco does a nice job. They run the ISO play where the fullback is leading up for the tailback. And the defensive line, if you notice, fans out there watching TV, those defensive linemen did not move from the line of scrimmage where it's actually at the 5-yard line.
So this is a great battle if you're a fan of in the trenches, because there's some big guys out there matching up.
Big, strong, tough guys. And one thing that is to the Old Forge advantage, they like to grind the clock out. So it's really tough.
Spindler rolls. They're going to say he's just short.
That was a great second effort reaching that ball out, but his knees did touch down before it broke the plane.
He just got tripped up enough. And the other thing is, both these teams, the players, they love the weight room.
Oh, big time. I mean,
big time weight room people.
If you were to walk on the sidelines of these kids when they were out here without their pads on, they're just strong, the solid, thick kids.
On third down, a flag comes in as Sobel kept it. This may be, let's see, looks like it's going to be offsides against the Bucks. So about a half, I don't know how much more further you can get closer
How much
to
is
the end zone.
half the distance to the goal line at the 1 inch line?
Yeah.
Offside.
So a nice opening drive for the Blue Devils, taking time off the clock.
They said that offsides was on number 84, Braden Ruther. And again, the side judge is looking right down, and you can't have any part of your body inside the ball.
So play number 12. Started at their own 26 for Old Forge. Sobel, oh, he puts his head down, but the Bucks push back with Cicerini and Mikowski, and somehow they get the big quarterback to lose yards. Rosario also on the bottom. He lost about a half a yard.
You're going to see that they didn't even do a submarine technique, which is a technique where you tell the defensive lineman, we want you to dive at the offensive lineman's ankles. This time they stayed low and they got their pads underneath the offensive line pads, pushed them back, and Rosario then gets that hit on the quarterback, Sobel.
So fourth down. Sobel again, left side, and he just gets in as he puts the ball over. Austin Brislin, I think, was on the bottom, and he had his legs, but the junior somehow got the ball over the end zone.
You're going to see there is number 84. Braden Ruther does a nice job penetrating, wrapping, but just wasn't enough, and Sobel reaches that ball across for the touchdown.
13-play, 74-yard drive. Eats up a bunch of clock here in the first quarter. And Old Forge cashes in as Gradnitsky for the extra point is up and through. 2:59 remaining in the first. Blue Devils over the Bucks, 7-0. The Blue Devils go 74 yards to cash in on fourth down. They lead 7-0 over the Dunmore Bucks. Towards the end of the first quarter on a beautiful night for high school football. Kranitsky, the kick off to the right side again. Ruggiero comes up and takes it at his 19. He'll be ridden out of bounds, up past the 25.
Old Forge Pharmacy supports Old Forge football team. We offer free delivery, free management of all your pill boxes, and all prescription insurance plans are accepted. Schedule your appointment now for your flu shot or COVID vaccination. Good luck to the Blue Devils from the Old Forge Pharmacy.
There you see Coach McHale looking for some offense from this team. His defense played well in that series, but just got outmatched up front a little bit, and again, they can't get any push. Greenfield in there, pushes Ruggiero back along with Holtzman. Minimal gain.
Well, they go with the power play. You see that the front side guard pulls and the fullbacks leading through. And again, the Blue Devils are talking to Coach Schuback about this. He always preaches his defense. They're going to fly to the ball. He wants 11 hats in the picture at the end, and they are doing that right now, making it very tough for the Bucks to run.
The Bucks had to replace Christian Buckley, a 1,000-yard runner, last year for the team, and over the last few years he's been there. They've had really good tailbacks they can rely on, has Dunmore, but they need to find someone this year who can
Offside.
really take
Defense.
over.
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's been Ruggiero in there. We see Toludo. We may see Rosario in there. He said they have 4 tailbacks that they'll use tonight.
This team, again, Bob, when we were showing the starting offensive line, there's a lot of young kids at the skill position. They have some experience up front, and led by number 77, Jacob Cicerini. He's a very fluid kid. I mean, he's got great feet, and he's got great movement up there to help lead them.
So Dunmore is going to be caught after Old Forge shifted on the defensive side. One of the lineman move, so the 5 yards that they just gained now will be going back the other way. So it's going to be 2nd down and 8.
Ball start. Offense. Number 67. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
When you have 4 seniors on the offensive line, you should really have that.
They should be a little bit more stout up front. And again, they're trying to find an identity with this newer offense that the Dunmore Bucks are showing now, a spread offense, which they're used to being in the eye and just running the daylights out of the ball.
Ruggiero up to the 35.
For a short gain in there, Bob, like you just said, this team, again, Coach McHale, he knows he's got to be patient with these young kids at the skill position. You'll see right in here, it's just that RPO inside. They just tried to do the fold block with the left guard going around the center stepping down to his left, trying to do that lead in there. But again, Dunmore's Old Forge is very stout up there, up on their defensive line.
Both these teams only 5 regular season games a year ago. They did make it into the playoffs, into the state playoffs, as well as Bowen's pass to the outside goes over the head of DeSando. Dunmore lost to Bishop McDevitt, which ended up losing to Southern Columbia, which we saw. And then
yes, we did.
The big game, Old Forge here against Steel High on an untimed down. Somehow Steel High got a touchdown, and
that was a crazy game.
The craziest you'll ever hear about. So a lot of motivation for both teams in the offseason. So it looks like Old Forge may try to go after this. They do. Big rush on Piero, and it's going to be short. Takes a big buck bounce, and it'll be down at the 24-yard line.
Popsy's Pizzeria is located in the heart of Old Forge, specializing in New York-style hand-tossed pizza, hot wings, burgers, and so much more. Takeout or delivery, call 570-457-4100 or popsyspizzeria.com. Now offering $10 cheese pizzas on Sunday with an Old Forge win.
Well, you don't want to say 1:02 left in the first quarter. This is a big series, but this is a big series for the Dunmore defense. If you give up another touchdown here with the offense that they've had, unable to score points, you get down 14 in this game. And that's going to be almost insurmountable. So the defense for the Bucks needs to come up huge as we have a flag down with 1:02 left.
And Coach Schuback looking a little frustrated at this time. And you know what? Take the timeouts in the first half. You can't. They don't accumulate, so use them.
We're gonna wave it off.
So no flag. I guess they called timeout before whatever happened on the field. So first time these two teams played, Jan, 1926.
No, I know I wasn't watching back then.
It's the 71st time the two teams have met, and as I said, Dunmore's won the last 4. The last time Old Forge won was
2013.
2013, thank you. And that was in the District 2A final. Remember, it's only been a few years since Dunmore has been a AA team.
It's amazing that these teams have played for that many years, Bob. I mean, and these programs have just progressed, and the expectations from the communities that are put onto these young men and the coaching staff, it really makes for strong community ties and makes these kids really proud of their hometowns.
So after the timeout, second of the first half for Old Forge. Blue Devils give it to Dietz. Greenfield leads the way, and he's up for nice yardage, about 7 over the 30.
You'll see on this play that Blue Devils go in motion. And you see Greenfield went to where the motion was to try to get that defense over, and Dietz does a nice job weaving up there for a good solid 8 yards.
I was going to say, yes, I said 7. It is 8. Thank you, Coach. So right now, the line of scrimmage being owned by the Blue Devils. Inside handoff to Greenfield, the big fullback, up for a figure law first down. And that may take us to the end of the first quarter with 15 seconds left. They'll roll the clock after the changer set. It rolls through, and that's the way the first quarter will end. Crowd is happy here in the pizza capital of the world as their team, Old Forge, has a 7-0 lead over Dunmore. Quarter number 2 on the other side.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the game. We're at Old Forge. We're going to take a break real quick and talk to you about the Car Vision Nissan Scholar Athlete. So each week, the schools pick one student who are not only good at their sport, but also perform well in the classroom. This week, we have Dunmore's Mia Bloom and Old Forge's Nick Rasmus. Mia Bloom plays basketball and softball at Dunmore, and Nick Rasmus plays football at Old Forge. Both of these athletes are in the top percentages of their classes. Congratulations once again to Mia and Nick. Bob, back to you.
Car Vision Scholar Athlete will have 19 this year. They submit a video, and then they have a chance to win a $5,000 scholarship, which is kind of neat. So congratulations to them as we see Greenfield up for good yardage over the 40-yard line for the Blue Devils.
Last week, Greenfield had 43 yards on 7 carries and 2 touchdowns. Again, they just went into that single back look. And again, he's just a nice, strong kid. I mean, 230 pounds, and he's a senior, and he knows what Old Forge football's like.
Speaking of the weight room, he's a built young kid, built young man, likes the weight room.
Well, when your scholar athlete came out there and he just had that T-shirt on, it was like, oh, wow. He's a nice-sized young man, and he's going to be going far.
So inside to Spindler, Dunmore does a nice job recognizing it. Didn't see who hit him first. Might have been Cicerini, but a big buck play. Third down coming up
on this play.
Forge.
This is what they call, out of the wing set, it's called a Sally play. And what they do is they want to get a pass block on the backside where he was running to get the defenders coming upfield, and it forms a natural crease, and the front side would end up being run block.
So back, Dunmore needs a stop. They put the pressure on him. The ball comes out. It's right into the hands of a Dunmore buck. The first turnover of the night goes to Dunmore. Nicholas Donvito falls on it.
And you'll see great pressure there from the outside. Rosario, 77. Jacob Cicerini, they just put it in there, and a great job, great fumble recovery by Nicholas Donvito.
Well, they talk about holding a loaf of bread, and that's exactly what he was doing. He didn't tuck the ball in, did Sobel. He let it hang out there, and Dunmore took advantage of it, and they have first down inside Blue Devil territory at their 44. Let's see if the offense can get anything going. Still looking for their first touchdown of the year. 5 quarters. Bowen deep, a little short, and it's almost picked off by Holtzman. Trying to hit DeSando out there, but the pass was a little bit too short.
Wobbly. Again, when you get a momentum swing like that, they want to go downtown like they did. You'll watch his action in here. He kind of threw off his front foot a little bit. His weight distributed. He kind of floated that in there. And again, great defense right there. Great job by number 3 in Old Forge, Casey Holtzman.
You have to like the play call, though. After the turnover,
yes.
Come out. You need to spark the offense somehow. Try to get it downfield. Now maybe you can go back to the running game, but it's going to be in the minds of the Blue Devils defense right now. Off the toss, Ruggiero, positive yardage. Up, full steam ahead for a nice gain. Bring up third down.
That's a nice job with the toss play in here, and you'll see number 58 lead, number 29 kick out, and Ruggiero, great vision, cuts back inside to where the open lane was.
Holtzman and Greenfield on the stop. So a little bit different offense than we're used to seeing from Dunmore, a little more spread out,
Yes.
more than when Coach Henges was there, Coach Mills. They're going to spread you out and try to throw it down the field. They have 3 wideouts now. Bowen in the shotgun, the blitz is coming. Right into the hands of Greenfield. He goes down the sidelines. Can he get caught from behind? He does. Pickup runs him down. Ill-advised pass from the sophomore goes right into the hands of the Blue Devil.
That was a nice job by look, man, I can't even think of his name right now. Greenfield, I mean, tremendous. Look at that, and he's just so solid. Key blocks, and number 2, Vinny Bonaviglia does a nice job not giving up.
Danny Pickett, number 2.
Was 2?
That's all
Number
right.
44 on Old Forge. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10, Old Forge.
Bob, thank you for that correction, and I'm glad we have these big cards that I can read these ones.
I can't set it up for you better. So how about the pad? A little bit off his back foot, and he forced it in.
And again, here's a sophomore trying to do things he doesn't need to do. Just get the first down.
Okay, off the interception, the ball will come back into Blue Devil territory. Old Forge has the ball, but as you saw, there was a penalty on the play. It's going to be at the 45. But after the fumble, Dunmore had a little bit of momentum, taken away immediately by the Blue Devils defense once again.
And they just, again, I agreed with that first play at the 1st and 10 after the turnover. Let's go downtown. And he looked good throwing the ball back in there. Tommy Bowen did. That one, he just was trying to force too much. There's too many blue jerseys, obviously. And again, bad things happen when you try to force it, especially when you're inexperienced at that quarterback position.
Old Forge having trouble getting personnel in and out. They only had 10 in the huddle. The 11th just ran out. Sobel rolling. Sobel being chased. McCown. Ball's down again. So Sobel coughs it up again. Rose is there to recover the fumble, but the ball is all the way back at the 34-yard line, a loss of 10.
This, again, he's got great pressure that he's under. And watch right here. He's going to flip the ball. And, again, it was underneath like an option. That's why that was a live ball, not an incomplete pass.
Nice job of Jacob Cicerini in there.
We've been calling Cicerini's name a lot tonight.
He got penetration, and now Old Forge has to call another timeout with 8:59 left. 8:59, excuse me, left in the second quarter. So things are starting to heat up on the field here in quarter number 2. We've had 2 turnovers already, and now Old Forge is out of timeouts as well.
And I'm sure Coach Schubeck called that timeout to try to get his kids to settle down. I think that right now he's a little upset with one of the officials. I'm not sure what it is. We'll get an explanation.
We have an incomplete pass, forward pass, incomplete, forward pass, 2nd down.
Oh, they're calling an incomplete pass. I don't know if we can see that replay again. Was he throwing the ball forward? You did mention it.
It looked to me like he was trying to do an option. His hand was going down. His thumb went down. Here we go. You be the official. Here's Cicerini putting the pressure on him, wraps him up. And to me, he was pitching the ball. But that, again, because his thumb went down. But Coach Schubeck's happy with that call.
So back on 2nd down, the draw. Spindler breaks a couple tackles. Rides a buck out of bounds, and a nice forward gain of almost 9 yards.
And you'll see this again. They set this up last week. They ran this a few times on 2nd and 3rd and long. They're known for this draw play, and that's really tough. Cicerini, again, getting great penetration and actually over-penetrated, and that allowed him to squeeze up there for those 7 yards.
That's just gain of 7. Thank you, Jan. So the Bucks would like to force a punt. In fact, Old Forge did not punt last week at all.
No, they did not. They didn't.
Dietz right up the middle, close to a 1st down. The ball come out again. What do the refs say? Dunmore has the ball. Officials are going to speak, and they're giving it to Old Forge. Must have said he was down, and he's right at the line to gain.
Well, the side judge makes the call on this. He comes up.
His knee was down.
His knee was down.
Yep.
And his body, the ball was over.
They're going to measure, or are they going to give him the first? They're giving him the first down. So it's a figure law first down for Old Forge.
Last week they didn't punt because Old Forge and Mid-Valley both had second and third downs for touchdowns. I'm talking 68 yards, 52 yards. So that's why we didn't see any of the punting from Old Forge.
Dietz behind his big offensive line, up inside Buck territory now, near the 40. Coach Schuback giving his play call to this junior quarterback, James Sobel.
Number 88 sophomore Joe Granco coming in at the tight end position.
New coach likes a lot, 5'11", 190. Just a sophomore, had a catch last week for 7 yards. They'll stick it on, stay on the ground with Spindler. He's tripped up by Don Vito, who shoots in. Third down coming.
Nice job with the backside power play. Santino Crappa lead blocking there, and again he just got tripped up on by his own man and fell forward.
Are you in 2-down territory? Do you think you have 2 plays here to get the 4 yards you need and keep the clock moving and keep possession?
That's what Old Forge is known for. Again, and I mentioned earlier, one of the things that's going to be against Dunmore is the clock and how they grind this out.
They're on that 5-man front again. Rosario couldn't get Dietz, but Dietz finds room and he gets a figure law first down to the 25, gain of 14. And we have a Dunmore buck hurt.
What I liked was seeing Hezekiah Dietz with his ball security here. As he comes, they run that inside ISO. He bounces it to the outside. Watch 2 hands go on the ball. Right, he covered up right when there was contact made.
Looks like Cameron Reyes may have taken a shot to the head or something. He was down immediately. They call him over.
For the finest in Italian cuisine, Cafe Rinaldi's Main Street Old Forge is the best restaurant to visit for a gathering with friends or if you need a banquet space to hold an event. Also looking for takeout? The long-awaited all-new Cucina Rinaldi, Bernie Avenue, is now open for breakfast through dinner. Call ahead or pick up one of your favorite dishes today.
So Hope Reyes, number 6, is okay, still down on the field. As all the players take a knee, getting a rest, getting some water on a nice cool night here in Old Forge. And the Blue Devils' schedule, not an easy one for Class A. We'll have Carbondale next week, and then Northwest, Montrose, Hanover, then at Mid-Riverside, the aid with Susquehanna and Lackawanna Trail.
Well, we know that October 29th, that's a bitter rivalry between these two. What I like seeing was when Reyes went down, Coach Schuback immediately went over to make sure that young man was okay. Even though they're battling on the field, we are still here for these kids. And Coach Schuback showed a lot of class by making sure he was okay.
Of course, Old Forge beat Mid-Valley last week, not Crestwood. So we'll look at that again.
And Mid-Valley last week gave Old Forge a slugfest here.
Mid-Valley is going to be one of those teams to be reckoned with in district playoffs. Coach McHale pleading with his team. Again, with the offense not doing much again this week, they can't give up too many scores.
It's tough to keep counting on your defense. Your offense has to start contributing as well as their special teams. And when your offense isn't scoring, kids get a tendency to get frustrated. They'll start, and again, I haven't seen it. It's very early in the game, but eventually they'll start pointing fingers or they'll start blaming somebody. Why didn't you block? Why didn't you catch the ball? Whatever it might be. So they just got to keep their composure like Dunmore is known to do, and they just got to grind this out.
Back on the field, Dietz with Greenfield leading. Piga comes over to ride him out of bounds near the Allied Services red zone, right at the 19. Hey, when you run behind a Greenfield, even you and I could pick up positive yardage.
I think I would pick up definitely 1 positive yard.
So gain of 7, and we have whistles, and we have a timeout by the Bucks, 5:40 left. So let's take a quick timeout. When we come back, Old Forge on the move again, trying to extend their lead here in Lackawanna County. Back in Old Forge, Friday night rivals, Bob Ide, Jan Secek, and Hannah O'Reilly joining this Lackawanna football conference clash between the Blue Devils and the Bucks. Back on the field, Old Forge on the move on a 2nd down, and we'll have some movement up front from the Blue Devils. It should go against them. Let's see what the referee John Loomis tonight says. They're conferring. There was a couple of blue jerseys that moved, so maybe they're trying to figure out the number.
I'll start. 57. 5-yard penalty. Wait, ref, we don't have 57.
You just heard somebody come in saying that there is no 57.
Well, they have a 52, and they have a 54, and a 55.
So
they're close.
Maybe that's the average. Some of the scores around the league, I see Valley View's beating Del Val 28-0 second quarter. Western Wayne 14-0 over beating North Pocono. Lakeland and Lackawanna Trailer tied 7-7. As is Dallas and Wyoming Valley West are locked at 14.
Williamsport's beating Altoona 14-7. Sobel back, looking over the middle. Beautiful pass to Holtzman on a dime, and it's a touchdown for Old Forge, 24 yards.
That
was on a rope.
A textbook. Wow. Look at that tight spiral. And he beats him. He has 2 steps, and he does a great job going thumb to thumb to catch that ball over his shoulder like that, looking inside.
That's 2 big plays from Holtzman tonight through the air. Raditsky kicks the extra point, but we have a flag down before the snap.
Ball. Encroachment. Defense number 23. Half the distance to the goal. Retry.
You'll see this right here. Look at him set his feet, and look at that. Tight spiral, thumb down, he followed through, and Holtzman just beat his man to the inside on that post pattern for a touchdown.
The other thing is he had time to step up and throw the ball and get everything he could into it. So let's try the extra point again, shall we? High kick is up and through. It's a 7-play, 56-yard drive. Took off just about 4 minutes off the clock. And it extends the Blue Devils' lead to 14. So Dunmore in the hole. Now, have not scored a touchdown this season yet. 4 quarters last week, a quarter this week, so 5.5 quarters and no points from the offense.
It's a little frustrating for the Bucks right now, but again, there's lots of time to go in this half. All they got to do is chip away at it, 1 first down at a time, and then they're going to find the pay zone.
Okay, it's that time of the night, Jan.
What time is it, Bob?
It is the Dr. Todd Smile Cam time. And we have some smiling faces from Hannah O'Reilly, I think, in the crowd with some friends.
Yeah, Bob and Jan. So Dr. Todd is actually no stranger to Old Forge. His office is right on Music Street in Old Forge. So, you know, what better group to be with than the Old Forge student section for the Dr. Todd Smile Camp. Guys, can we see those smiles? Another shy group.
Yeah.
The shirtless smile cam, guys.
Good luck getting out of there. Granitsky's kick is taken right on the sidelines by Cole Capucci. He's lucky he still has the ball. And Dunmore now, the offense comes back out.
That's interesting that Old Forge, when they're doing that, they're getting a long pooch kick towards the numbers where it allows their guys, the kickoff team, to get under the ball because that is a live ball on kickoff.
Unofficially, looking through my quick notes, I have 12 yards of offense for Dunmore tonight. In a quarter and a half. Back to Ruggiero. Ruggiero with a nice hole, and he shoots through. So nice gain there, up near the 40.
They run the counter tray on that play. You'll see numbers 58 and 77 coming right into your TV right there, right into your living room, and Ruggiero just following those big horses for a nice 5-yard gain.
So if you're the Bucks, you don't want to stop running the ball. Still a lot of time in this game, but you need something positive out of this drive.
Again, the confidence right now of the quarterback is probably a little shaky right now at this point, but he's got to have a short-term memory. With when bad things happen, forget it. When good things happen, you go, okay, that's good, now I'm going to continue. You'll see right here, it was just an inside fullback trap. On that play, you saw number 67, Austin Brislin, pulling to lead up on the inside. And we have a Dunmore buck down.
This may be Hickey who had the ball. You saw an Old Forge player fall on him at the end. Maybe just the wind knocked out of him a little bit. So he'll remain on the field, which is in really good shape considering the wet weather we had in the middle of the week. The field is in great shape. No mud. Very green. It was pretty sturdy, too, when I walked out there.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Keystone College. Your career starts here with over 40 degree options, the lowest tuition, and a giant education. Register for on-campus open house on Saturday, September 25th.
The other thing is, Jan, Dunmore does not have a first down all game. They have the first two possessions, they had 3 and outs.
They had
3 and outs, then they had the interception.
And this is going to be the hope. And Bob, I said, you always hear me saying this. All they have to worry about is that first down. They're 1 yard away from getting that right now against a very stingy Old Forge Blue Devil defense. So they're going to be leaning on those big offensive, the senior offensive linemen of Dunmore to try to give that extra little bit grit and let's get that first down.
They need a yard on this one for a figure law first down for the Bucks. Bowen off the right side has that figure law first down. They'll move the chains up to the 44.
Bowen probably watched Sobel run that, and he goes a little bit wider on that, which is good. They're playing a Old Forge plays a 4-4 defense. They kind of pitch their 2-3 techniques to a 2 or a 2-eye where they're shading the center, and that opened up off the guard tackle gap again.
They went over Schmidt and Calderon off that right side to get that. So a new set of downs. Back to Ruggiero. He's got another hole off that left guard, and he's up at midfield and just over it.
Luciano Calderon, number 58, gets his number called for this power play. You'll see him. Here he comes, cleaning up inside, and then Ruggiero just led that up through.
Let's see if Dunmore now sticks it on the ground or they want to get a play action in here or one of those screens that we've seen before. The play action, and Bowen dove forward at 6'1", knocked down by Rose, but close to another first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
I like the play call. Again, they're going to do it again. It looked like exactly like they just ran that power play last play, and they go inside for the quarterback keep.
Like Holtzman over there on the stop. Another shift up front from Old Forge, and it's really thrown off the offensive line for Dunmore. Second time tonight they're going to be called for illegal motion.
Start. 82. Offense. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
So the coaches obviously recognize something from
And
the Bucks.
when you have your offensive lineman, they know where the play is, and more importantly, they know what the snap count is. And when your defensive line starts shifting and doing that kind of stuff, you got to just concentrate on what's going on straight in front of you.
They'll stick in the eye. They give it off the other side to Rosario. Some hard running there. Greenfield there on the stop. 3rd and 5 on the way. 3rd and 4 for the Bucks.
They collapse that in there. You'll see the counter tray action. He could have bounced it out, but again, there was nothing there. The two pulling guard and tackle formed a wall, but then the rest of those inside linebackers, inside-outside linebacker from the left side of the Old Forge defense came in and just shut the door.
Angelo Framonti, number 44 on the stop. So it's 4th down now. Bucks will go for it. Let's see if they try to draw him offside. They're trying to do a hard count. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Let's see if Coach McHale and the staff call timeout on 4th down and 4 right at midfield. And they take the timeout. Good discipline from the Old Forge defense. Okay, if you're Dunmore, do you go? You're down 14. Ball's right at midfield. Yeah.
I'd punt it. Put it back there. There's a minute 54. Old Forge isn't known for a quick strike offense, but we just saw that last play with that pass at Sobel to Holtzman. So they're going to have that in the back of their mind saying, okay, they can't throw the ball.
But think about this. Old Forge gets the ball to begin the 3rd quarter.
So you want
do you want to give it back to Old Forge with a minute left? Now, Old Forge doesn't have any, I don't believe, any timeouts left in this first half. They used
done.
the 3. But they can pick up first downs and stop the clock. And we saw Sobel's arm. So
and Holtzman,
Coach McHale's already made the decision. He will punt the ball. Piero out. Third punt of the night. High snap. Here comes the rush. He gets it with the left. He hits it with the left foot, and it hits a Dunmore Buck right at the 45-yard line. 44-yard line. Hit him right in the chest, so it's down right there.
Ross McDonald Optical is a proud sponsor of the Dunmore Bucks. Stop in and check out their large selection of designer eyewear from brands such as Ray-Ban, Oakley, Gucci, Tom Ford, and many more. Schedule an appointment with their doctor or bring in an existing prescription. Located at Dunmore Corners, they are happy to serve the Dunmore community and the surrounding areas.
I don't think Piero's a left-footed kicker, is he?
It's amazing what you can do under pressure, Bob.
Well, he did a good job to get it off. But it gives the Blue Devils time, 1:45 left. That inside handoff again to Spiller, but the Bucks are right there. Couple players have them and
keep them in bounds.
Keep them in bounds, coach, and no gain. Ruggiero in there. And Mitchell.
Old Forge running, like I said, there's that Sally play. And again, number 77, we keep calling his name, Jacob Cicerini, blew that up and forced him to go way outside, which, again, you want to send them to your strength. And you saw that. Number 4 coming in really tough for them and does a great job wrapping them up.
That's Mitchell, who made the stop. So Old Forge does not have to be in a hurry here. Dunmore's not going to call any timeouts. As I said, the Blue Devils will get the ball after the Toyota halftime report. Sobel back. They'll take a couple shots maybe. Let's see. Holtzman. Downfield. Instead, on the other side, they hit Simone. And Simone goes in for an Old Forge touchdown. And there is that quick hitter that we just talked about.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, talking with Coach Baradelli before the game, he's the offensive defensive line coach. And look at this, Sobel, nice job. The Dunmore Bucks defensive end got caught inside. He's supposed to have contained. And we see Sobel just throw another laser for a touchdown. I mean, Old Forge is sending it out there that we can run the ball, but more importantly, we are throwing the ball very effectively.
Simone's first touchdown of the season goes 56 yards. And Granitsky's kick is up and through, and suddenly Old Forge strikes again. They're up 21-0. And that's maybe why you go for it on 4th down.
And here, look, Sobel, inside you see he gets hooked inside right there, 23. Again, and a nice job coming across on the drag pattern, and he's got nice wheels on him. Good speed, good burst for that touchdown.
I thought he was looking at Holtzman going deep, and Holtzman had his guy beat. Instead, Simone comes over the middle and just outruns the Buck defender.
And that's a mark of a good young quarterback understanding the offense and spread the ball around. Who would you, if you were Coach McHale, the defensive coordinator for the Dunmore Bucks, who would you say to your corners, who do you want to cover? Obviously, you'd say Holtzman, because right. And now here again, Simone coming across on that drag pattern, and they great call play.
So the Old Forge crowd happy to see this, maybe break this 4-game winning streak in the series by the Bucks.
Bob, you mentioned the crowd. We have a really nice crowd here at Old Forge tonight. Even the traveling Dunmore fans are, it's nice to see the stands full again.
That it is, Coach, that it is. You can feel the energy, not only in the press box we're in, but also on the sidelines. So Kranitsky, this one goes to the right again. Made a hit a Buck, nope. DeSando somehow pulled it in and got taken down immediately. That was iffy.
Old Forge Pharmacy supports Old Forge football team. We offer free delivery, free management of all pill boxes, and all prescription insurance plans are accepted. Schedule your appointment now for your flu shot or COVID vaccination. Good luck to the Blue Devils from the Old Forge Pharmacy.
So 38 seconds left. Dunmore comes out in the eye. Looks like they'll give it to Hickey, who did get shaken up on the last time he had the ball. So good to see the sophomore back out. And I think Coach McHale is just content to take this one into the halftime. 20-0, and the streak continues for Dunmore. They have not scored a touchdown this season yet. They just picked up their first down late in the second quarter, so they have to make adjustments to this offense if they want to continue on in this game, and let alone into next week. Because it doesn't get any better next week for Dunmore. They have Lake Lehman coming. So beautiful half for Old Forge. Sobel, using his arms and his legs, has been part of all 3 touchdowns for the sophomore quarterback. So Hannah's going to try and grab Coach Schuback real quick to talk about this first half. Okay, down to Hannah with Coach Schuback as he goes off the field right into halftime. Hannah?
Yeah, Bob, I have Coach Schuback here from Old Forge. Coach, what was your team's mindset going into tonight's game?
Well, 2 great teams in the area on TV. Just play. We're going to play next week. There's no pressure. Just let us come out of our, the old shell of just pounding ground and let the kids have a great time. And we practice all week real loose. It was a great loose atmosphere. Now we still have 24 minutes to go.
Yeah, 21-0. What's working for your guys out there?
Well, any game is handled at the line of scrimmage. Right now, I think we're winning. We still have 24 minutes to go, but our kids right now are confident, obviously, but this game's far from over.
And do you think your guys will be able to keep the momentum going in the second half?
Well, it's a very good football team on the other side, and they're going to give us our best shot coming back out. So until the clocks are zero, we're going to come out with the mindset it's 0-0 to start the third quarter.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
Thank you, guys. Coming up in the Toyota Halftime Report, we'll check in with the Fox 56 News First at 10 team and see what they have coming up on the news tonight. Hannah will have a guest from Allied Services, and then Jan and I will be back with scores and stats from the first half. That's coming up in the Toyota Halftime Report.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.
Welcome back. I'm joined by Taryn Melody. She's a doctor of physical therapy here at Allied Services. Taryn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, walk me through, what does a doctor of physical therapy do every day?
Every day I get the opportunity to treat patients that are diagnosed with stroke, Parkinson's disease, MS, orthopedic injuries like chronic neck and back pain, sports injuries, and total joint replacements.
And what's the most rewarding part about this position?
I love making a relationship with the patients. I really get to know them, what's important to them. That helps to set the goals that we set for physical therapy so that it's meaningful to them. And then I get to be on their journey with them as they reach these goals and help them to improve their quality of life.
And what would you say is the best part about working at Allied Services altogether?
At Allied Services, continuing education is extremely important to every therapist. So you always get to learn. We're always learning the newest techniques, the best advancements in technology, and we get to apply these to working with our patients every day.
And now, if somebody wanted to join the team, are there positions available right now?
Absolutely. We're always looking to get new, wonderful therapists that could help us to treat patients, so absolutely.
Well, Taryn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Now, if you would like to join the Allied Services team, you can head to alliedservices.org/careers. We'll be right back.
I'm Bill Conaboy. I'm President and CEO of Allied Services Integrated Healthcare System, and we're very pleased for the third year in a row to be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Particularly during these struggles and these difficult times, our thousands of employees believe it's so important to this community to bring Friday night football to families throughout Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. So we look forward to another great season, and again, we're very pleased to be a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals.
On behalf of Allied Services and Bill Conaboy, we'd like to present the Old Forge Athletic Director, Dan Mozaleski, and the Old Forge School District, a donation of $250 on behalf of Allied Services. And thank you to Old Forge for letting us televise tonight's game between the Blue Devils and the Bucks. We are back in the booth. It's 21-0. Bob Ide and Jan Sechak, a game that we kind of expected this to happen. And James Sobel, the quarterback from Old Forge, last week, it was his legs. This week, it's his arms leading the way.
And there's a reason for that. He got banged up last week against Mid-Valley with his ankle. He's thrown for 150 yards in the first half, something that Old Forge is not known to do, but they're doing it extremely well.
They're also controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides.
And the time of possession. And they are just doing what they have to do. They're going to grind it out, and they're taking it out on Dunmore right now.
The Bucks, meanwhile, their offense is almost non-existent the first two games. It's come back tonight to haunt them a little bit. Thomas Baldwin has one interception. He's 0 for 3 through the air, and they just can't get anything established.
They've had, I believe, one first down in the first half, and you're not going to win a lot of football games if you don't generate any type of offense.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights if we can. And here is Sobel, the first catch to Casey Holtzman. This is on the first possession of the game, and it really opened things up.
He does a great job of breaking tackles and then zigging and zagging and getting that extra yardage for that second and third effort. And now watch this. He lays that right in there. Great job possessing that ball and good coverage. We get a touchdown there from Sobel on the quarterback keep. Now watch, in this, he comes in here. This is where coaches go, what are you thinking? You never carry it like a loaf of bread.
Well, we thought the Bucks might have a good possession, but, you know, Bowen throws it right to Greenfield for the interception that really stalled any kind of momentum Dunmore might have had.
And took it right away from them.
So Old Forge set up again and again, using a little bit of the ground game from Dietz. He powers through.
And again, great lead blocking up there by big number 42 Greenfield. Look at this touchdown strike. Perfect spiral, perfect pattern.
And that's the way the fans would like that one. And the defense playing well throughout the game for Old Forge, and then the big strike.
To punch this in right before half. Again, a wonderful job. Again, the D-backs are looking at Holtzman, and here he comes right across on that drag play, which takes a little bit of time. So give the offensive line credit for giving him time to throw the ball.
Both teams on the field. Going to get a stretch in, and then we'll have the third quarter on the way. We'll be right back after this. Enjoying some refreshments in the stands here tonight, and maybe a little Old Forge pizza, which we did give to the crew.
We did,
and we got your pepperoni.
And I appreciate that, Bob.
Always great pizza when we come to the pizza capital of the world. We have to dine on that, and we did before the game. So Old Forge will get the ball to begin the second half. So if you're Dunmore and you're the coach at Dunmore, would you tell the kids at halftime, and what do you want to see out of them in the third quarter?
At halftime, I would tell them defensively, guys, you're there. We just have to gang tackle and stop. Now, secondary coverage, we're just going to have to play a little bit tighter. Offensively, I would be leaning on those senior offensive linemen to say it's time for you to step up, take charge, and make sure everything in the huddle is going well. Make sure that you guys do a great job with your blocking assignments. They've just got to pick away at that. Again, I said earlier we have to get a first down. They got one. And then things just didn't work for them. They got stalled, and they've just got to go back and start believing in themselves. They just need some confidence.
Old Forge next week going to head to Carbondale. Dunmore taking on Lake Lehman. And Dunmore's schedule, they have 6 teams in the 3A classification that are all very tough. And we looked at their schedule a little bit, but next week they have Lehman, they have Prep in there coming up, and of course they lost last week to Western Wayne. So some very tough games, including like a Wyoming area, for the Bucks.
They are playing a top-notch schedule, and Coach McHale firmly believes that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and he's got a tall order right now.
So the kick is away. It looks like Max Hunt did the honors. Holtzman still powering his way past the 40 to the 42-yard line, and Sobel back on, 5 of 8 in that first half, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground that he scored.
Boy, Casey Holtzman on special teams, 1/3 of the game. We always stress about that. He brings the ball all the way up to the 42-yard line. Excuse me, the 43. That gives the Blue Devils great field position right now to start this second half.
If the Bucks have any aspirations of getting back in this one, it has to start right here on the defensive side against the Blue Devils. You have to stop them, get them off the field on third down.
Get that confidence going on your defense, and it'll trickle over to the offense.
So Greenfield is the fullback, Dietz the up back, and they'll get it off to Dietz. He kind of juggles a little and then finds room, picks up a block downfield. Great block there by Tallow, and he's inside Buck territory for a Keystone College first down.
Ethan Tallow does a tremendous job at that split end position for the Old Forge. 6'2", 190-pound senior. He's got experience. You'll see him come into your TV screen right there. He blocks that corner out, and that allows him to get that yardage outside. Nice run.
17 yards on the first play of the third quarter for the Blue Devils. And we'll see power football. Looks like the rest of the way. They want to control the time of possession. Dietz again trying to get a block, and he does from Reyes. And up past the 35.
You'll see this again. They're running a backside. They're running the trap play with number 77, Khalil Rose, leading the way in there. Look at him. He does a real nice job sealing that edge and allows Dietz to get that yardage needed to get that nice big first down gain of 5 yards.
Old Forge trying again to make it to the district finals. They have aspirations of the state finals this year. I think they're good enough to get in the Class A. Greenfield, you can't take him down. He's tough. He's going to be close to a Keystone College first down, about 2 yards short.
What I liked was Sobel did a complete spin, pivot around all the way, and that allows the fullback to take that step to the right and cut back inside for that fullback trap.
I guess my first question would be, is that what you're supposed to do?
Yes. No, that's by design, believe it or not. You're going to be.
Looks awkward to me.
The quarterback is actually reversing out, going to look like he's going to fake the toss, and he just ends up doing an inside handoff to the fullback.
Clock keeps rolling. Here in the third. Dietz again, and this time ridden out of bounds. And the chains will move for another Keystone College first down.
That was a real nice job on this outside zone power with the fullback leading through 42. And there's Dietz again. He's an upright runner, but he's deceptively fast the way that he looks because he's upright when he's running.
Nothing fancy. He's going to power the ball. Dietz with room and gets knocked out of bounds. Gain of about 7, and I believe Hannah had a chance to talk to Coach McHale, and what did he say about his team into the third quarter, Hannah?
Yeah, Bob, I talked to Coach McHale. He said he's confident in his team for the second half of this game. He says their plan is to win back this game against Old Forge. Coach McHale says his guys definitely played well in the first half, but they gave up some moves. He mentioned that as long as they focus on moving the ball offensively, they should have a good shot. Bob and Jan, I guess we'll see how this half goes.
Yeah, it starts right here, though. They can't score if you don't have the ball. That you get a turnover. Dietz right side this time. Again, Greenfield leading the way. Another Keystone College first down, and this methodical drive continues, and it looks like Greenfield is slow to get up. That would be a huge loss for them.
See, they go with the ISO play with him. Greenfield leading up right in there. He's grabbing at his knee right there. You can see that on the TV. Great camera work by our guys again, week in and week out, giving us the best shots and giving the viewers a bird's eye view of what's going on the field.
Yeah, coming right up, Michael Basta getting that shot from the end zone camera, and that would be a huge loss if they lost Greenfield, fullback, also the linebacker.
Allied Services is offering up to a $15,000 sign-on bonus right now. Call to make an appointment, 570-348-2222. Allied Services is the region's leading provider of healthcare, and we want you to be fulfilled in your career. $15,000 sign-on bonus. Call now and learn why a career at Allied Services is the right choice for you.
I want to thank all of our sponsors for Friday Night Rivals this season. Week 2, Coach. Week 2, next week, we're going to take a drive. I'm going to take you into Northumberland County, the beautiful town of Shamokin.
And Bob, when we went down there 2 weeks ago to watch that scrimmage, as I was driving home, and I sent you a picture, I got stuck behind an Amishman in his horse and buggy. I felt like I was back in my days at Millersville in Lancaster County, where you're surrounded.
Yep. Pennsylvania Heartland Conference game between Selinsgrove and Shamokin. They played 3 times last year. Shamokin ended up winning 2 of those, and here is the schedule. So that'll be next week. We're going to take a drive to Shamokin, have a great time down there.
Absolutely. Coach Hynoski. Yeah.
Coach Hynoski, Henry Hynoski, of course, with the Giants, won a Super Bowl ring. Then we're going to see your old team, some of your friends. We're going to go up to North Pocono with our friend Coach Dolan. Scranton and Honesdale, our first trip to up north.
Up north,
and then we're in a Wyoming area, Lakeland, and that's a good 3A District 2 matchup.
That's a great matchup, and I'll just need directions to Lakeland because it's been a year. It's been a year since we've been there three times in one season. And congratulations to Coach up there at Lakeland. He had a great year last year, and he's picking up right where he left off.
That's true, and I believe he also won the Dream Game.
He did. I'll tell you what, that.
There you see Greenfield walking off gingerly, so that's a good sign for the Old Forge fans. Don't be surprised if he does not come back in this game. They have it under control. Spindler up the middle. Inside the 10, close to a first down. They're going to be short.
And Angelo Fumani is taking over that fullback role and did a nice job with that ISO inside, leading him up through. You'll see it right here. There he comes. Fumani lead blocks. He stalls the linebacker and then allows him to get that nice, what did he get, 6 yards on that.
Well, if you're a Dunmore fan, this is not what you wanted to see to begin the third quarter. You're hoping your Bucks could make the stop, but instead Old Forge is back inside the Allied Services red zone and a big hole. The ball comes out. Could be a break, and Dunmore has it. Spindler coughed it up. Let's see who's on the bottom. Number 7, Cal Toludo.
Big play for the Bucks right there to stop that drive. Inside ISO, squirts through, and who was that calls that? Number 5.
Rosario.
Our player spotlight of the game.
So Zakai Rosario pulls it out. Toludo recovers, and that's what the Dunmore defense needed. After Old Forge took off almost 4 minutes off the clock. So Bowen back on, has not completed a pass all night long, but I'm pretty sure they're going to stay on the ground. They do.
Nice run by Ruggiero.
Ruggiero up through and going to be close to a first down past the 10. Let's see where they mark it. About a yard short.
Bob, I'm looking at the Dunmore Bucks offensive line. Nice play in here. Look at this. Ruggiero cuts it back inside and gets a good 8.5 yards on that. What I was going to say was what's tough is for the offensive linemen is some of those guys are going both ways at the defensive line. So, again, they just were out on the field defensively for 5 minutes.
What's harder?
Coming back and bouncing out on offense.
So Bowen powers up the middle behind his center, Danny Schmidt. And it's a Keystone College first down up near the 20. So now let's see if they open up the offense just a little bit.
Bob, to answer your question a little bit more in detail, when you're playing both ways, the offensive line position is a lot. Here's the quarterback sneak for that first down for the Bucks. But playing offense, you can't take a break. On defense, you can plug your hole. You could, if you're getting double teamed, you can grab them and form a big pile, allow your linebackers to make the play.
Oh, really, both teams are doing the same exact thing, smaller schools. Hickey up through, the sophomore. The Dunmore doesn't have time to stay in the huddle too long. Down 21 points.
And inside here, they go with that scissor action. The fullback went to the right, tailback goes to the left. That was a great call. And again, now Dunmore's starting to find their groove. Just keep pounding the rock.
They're back into the power eye now. And this time, Old Forge reads it really well. Andrew Santasero in there at 260 pounds, along with Crappa at 240.
Nice job at power eye. Look at the defense. 51 sheds his block, comes in. Number 55 coming in hard, and then just stuffing them there at the line of scrimmage.
So a big third down now. Call it 4 for Dunmore after getting the fumble from Old Forge. They started on their 4-yard line. So Rosario now dots the I. They'll give it to him. He can't go anywhere as Old Forge stops all the gaps. And Rasmus in there, our scholar athlete, showing intelligence of where that ball was going to be. And Dunmore's forced to punt.
There was nowhere for Rosario to run on that. He tried. The defense was blowing the line of scrimmage up, and they dropped him for a short loss.
One thing I did see in a couple highlights one of the highlights we saw from Dunmore last week against Western Wayne. They threw that swing pass for some positive yardage. We haven't seen anything like that from Dunmore tonight.
And most of the time, that's a really easy completion for a quarterback to make. And that gives them a ton of confidence. Great bounce on the punt.
Pero gets the buck bounce, and it goes to the 34-yard line, 5:11 left here in the third quarter. So Dunmore unable to take advantage of the turnover. Blue Devils get the ball back, up 21. These two teams, of course, familiar with getting to the state finals. Dunmore has played in 4 state finals, winning one in 1989, one of the first ones ever. They've won 13 District 2 titles, have the Bucks. And Old Forge, they were in the state finals in 2013. They've won 8 titles in Class A. Of course, one of the members of that team, Shane Schuback, coach's son, is volunteering this year. He's the special teams coach.
Coach Schuback, speaking to him earlier when he was telling us about his shop, unfortunately getting flooded, but he was talking about the community here in Old Forge and how much they're going to come together, and they did. They helped him out to make sure that not just his shop is doing well, because they didn't want any distractions on the football field.
Dietz taken down by almost the neck area by Cicerini, inadvertently, only a couple yards on the play.
It's a nice job, though, by the Bucks defense coming in swarming. You see number 33 right there coming off the edge, putting the pressure. Nick Donvito from the linebacker spot shooting in and really forced them to come inside.
Bucks picked up a couple first downs after the fumble, but after that, drive stalled and the Old Forge defense stepped up big. As the Bucks have really been hesitant since the interception to go to the air. And it looks like Spindler slipped down.
And Rosario was there to make sure he stayed down. Now, 3rd and long, Bob. Again, I have feeling sneaking suspicion. Here we go. Watch the replay. Comes inside. You'll see that slip right there. He actually tripped over his offensive lineman. And again, now I wouldn't be surprised if Coach runs his famous draw play.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Sobel throw the ball downfield. So already has 2 touchdown passes through the air, does the quarterback, and 1 on the ground.
Famonti came out, so they're going to their 1-back formation.
Sobel will throw it. Goes to the side to Holtzman, and Holtzman picks up a Keystone College first down and gains 14, right almost to midfield.
I'll tell you, Casey Holtzman, wow. What a great job catching that ball, securing, and then that great burst he has. Sobel does a nice job rolling to his right and threads another one right there to him. And look at this, 3-4 guys from Dunmore to take him down.
So a little bit different play call than we're used to seeing from Old Forge. Spread it out a little bit, not as conservative. They pick up a first down through the air. And they're going to stay in the air. Sobel feeling it. Back out to Holtzman again, his favorite receiver tonight. Gain of about 6.
And right there, good shot of sportsmanship from Casey Holtzman to help Rosario up off the floor. I'm listening to the announcers right now saying you don't ever see too many 100-yard receivers from Old Forge, and we might be seeing one tonight.
Yeah, from Holtzman and definitely Sobel over 100. He may be near 200 yards passing. Under pressure, Sobel throws it up. He's lucky that didn't get an interception. Almost taken down by Braden Ruther, the sophomore.
We've called Ruther's name a couple times tonight, and that's very promising for the sophomore and the Bucks. And again, you see there's just pressure there. Number 50 was doing a lot of work on that. That was Joe Marzacco, the senior defensive end, putting that initial pressure on.
So a big 3rd down now for Dunmore to make the stop, get the ball back. And Sobel's really limping now. It's very noticeable coming in and out of the huddle as he gets the play from Coach Schuback on the sidelines. 2:26 remaining in the third. Back to Dietz. Shuffles his feet, dives ahead. He's going to be about 2 yards short of a first down. And we may actually see an Old Forge punt.
No, not at the
Nope,
30. No, I don't think so.
Come on.
I like the way Dietz runs the ball. Boy, he's got good vision. He saw what he was bouncing to the outside, and then he came back inside because there was a defender there. I like the way that young man runs.
I don't think the kicker has. I don't think they have a punter. I think Coach Schuback's. Barnikowski is listed as the punter. So on fourth down, Dietz right side, has a block and has an army of players to block for him. Big burst, and he's inside the 20 to the 19, gain of 21, and a Keystone College first down.
Just inside, they just pinched everybody down. They went wing formation, wing block down, chips the defensive end, looks for the linebacker, and that opened up that entire left side.
Cal Toledo really makes a touchdown-saving tackle. And they're inside the Allied Services red zone again, are the Blue Devils. Trying to extend this 21-point lead. Neither team has scored here in the second half. Dietz from behind, taken down by Cicerini.
Hezekiah Dietz, he starts off to his left side and then weaved back to the right side to get that short gain.
And the one thing that Old Forge wanted to do was control the time of possession, and they certainly have this whole game. Dunmore's only had 3 first downs in the game so far, and that's not helped their cause tonight.
Absolutely not. 3 first down, and when you're sitting there, offense hasn't scored, you're sputtering on offense, you need to start to control that ball.
Last play of the third quarter should be, and it's Dietz trying to get some blocks, and he does. Ruther from his defensive end position makes the tackle, but it'll be third down and short, and that should just about do it. So 3 quarters in this book, Old Forge trying to break the string of 4 straight against the Bucks. That's losses. And it looks like they're on their way to winning this one. Quarter number 4 on the other side here on MyTV, WQMY. There's some of the crowd here at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Old Forge enjoying their Blue Devils, taking care of the Bucks 21-0. Bob Ide, Jan Cechak, and Hannah O'Reilly on the sidelines tonight with our Fox 56 Sports crew. We always love it when we come to the Blue Devil country. Right now, Old Forge has really owned Dunmore tonight, just about every phase of the game.
They really have. And more importantly, more important than the time of possession is that scoreboard and how they are dominating them. 21-0 right now, and I would think Coach Schuback might want to pull Sobel if his ankle is like injured a little bit more tonight. Try to save him for next week. So I'm looking at number 42, Big John Greenfield. He's walking around, but doesn't have his helmet on. So I think they're just being conservative with him.
Coach McHale, maybe a little bit frustrated. He's usually a calm type demeanor. But again, got to be feeling the pressure. You know, the Bucks, this is not really what we see typically from the Dunmore Bucks.
All coaches, they put so much pressure on themselves to do well, to make sure that their program's going in the right direction. And Dunmore's program it's just that it's frustrating that they can't get into the end zone.
Dietz on the carry, picks up a Keystone College first down. Rosario made the stop and do a flag. Let's look at the play first, Coach. I'll check the field.
Right there, Hezekiah Dietz on the outside. They just went with the ISO, and he bounced it to the outside. And that's what I said earlier. I like the way Dietz runs the ball.
Holding on the offense. Number 4, 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
So Spindler caught grabbing the jersey, and that will back up Old Forge for 3rd and long now.
Now, one thing that happens in football is there's holding on every play. The difference is if you're not moving your feet and if your arms are extended. If you look down at any offensive lineman playing, you're going to see that they're going to be grabbing the defender lineman's jerseys, but they're going to keep their feet and they're going to keep their arms in. That's when the officials let the kids play. Oh, another flag.
More yellow jerseys.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Old Forge was having problems with that in the first quarter. They had to use several timeouts due to personnel changes. Still trying to get it right. So here's that trips formation to the right side. Sobel looking right, looking. Has time, goes long over the middle and overthrows Ethan Tallow, the senior. He was well covered back there by Toludo.
When they go back into this trips open formation, what they're trying to do is they're isolating to get that one-on-one. And you can see Dunmore's playing man-to-man coverage. And right there, Ethan Tallow is 6'2", and they were trying to go for that height advantage over 5'10" Liam Crawley on that play.
So we're checking out other scores, and a couple people have already said, it looks like it's true. London Montgomery from Scranton Prep in the first half alone had 18 carries for 300 yards.
Wow.
And 4 touchdowns.
300.
300. The record is 380 in the Lackawanna Football Conference. To the end zone, trying to hit Simone, who already has a touchdown tonight. Well covered back there, and Dunmore will take over on downs.
That ball by...
We'll get back to the minute, and I think it's Dr. Todd Smile Can. We have to get to that, and Hannah has some guests.
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier, Dr. Todd's office is right in Old Forge, so obviously it makes sense that we stick to that theme. I have the cheerleaders right behind me. Ladies, let's see that Dr. Todd Smile Cam smiles.
Thank you to the Old Forge cheerleaders. We have a little bit of cramping, it looks like, from a Dunmore player. So the Bucks come back out. Now, you're down 21-0 still. Not much time in the game. You're in the fourth quarter. What do you want to see from Dunmore? 11-19 left.
Coach is definitely going to want to see his offense try to get some more consistency. Let's just keep working the first downs. I wouldn't be surprised if they put their quarterback in the position now, because he's up. We're seeing they're getting some snaps in there. Good. That's good. Again, with the quarterback in there of Thomas Bowen, again, they've got to get him a little bit more time to throw the ball. Get that confidence. Put together a nice drive right here and try to build get it into the end zone and build for next week.
So Danny Schmidt was the one with the cramp. He's the starting center, so that's why you saw number 51, Evan Mikowski, doing the snap. So he will take over, snapping the ball to Bowen as the Bucks come back out in the I, up at the 27-yard line. They'll go to the air. Little pump fake. They're going to air it downfield. And it's overthrown to Lorenzo Mitchell. Mitchell pleading with the ref, but good defense down there by Simone.
This is what I was saying. I was hoping to see this. A good little pump fake in there. Again, he's got to get his feet and get better quarterback technique in there. He just kind of threw off after the pump fake, he just kind of tossed it. And again, we saw that he was pleading with the official that he was holding, but.
Well, we do have a flag down. It was not downfield. It was at the line of scrimmage. And I believe it's going to go against the Bucks as they're going backwards.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 59. half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's big Nathan Ruther, the sophomore. Backs the ball up. Should be 10 yards, right? They're still placing it. So that's the 27. So my math says they should go to the 12. 15-yard penalty.
You paid attention. I'll tell you what, Mr. I,
Yes.
atta boy.
Scranton Central education.
You paid attention to math class.
I did.
Good.
I did not. It's the new math I have to teach my kids.
I don't even understand that.
Famonte with the tackle.
When you have an offense that's struggling and now you have 1st and 25, there's not too many plays that you have written up for that. And again, I understand, Coach, just trying to get a couple yards. Let's try to. So he's going to have to open it up, try to make something happen here. Bob, you said about the swing passes. We haven't seen that. I think this could be a good time to see what happens there, stretch them out.
Well, Ruggiero is the sidecar to Bowen. Here comes the blitz. And he goes down. The sophomore quarterback lost his footing right near the end zone. About 2 yards short, or that would have been a safety. I think it goes down as a sack.
And he just slipped right there. And you see him again, number.
Yeah, Cranko, number 88.
Yep, 88 gets
came on the blitz. Boy, he had a great game last week. His sophomore, he had a tackle.
He did.
A tackle for loss, a sack, and an interception for a touchdown. Not too bad for Joe Granko, and Coach talked about him in the beginning, number 88.
He did. Another kid that Coach Schuback talked about was number 21, Andrew Bartnikowski, the junior, who's out there playing the cornerback position. And we haven't called his name a lot tonight, but he's been doing a nice job shutting down, but they've been running away from him.
Some of the backups in now for Old Forge. On 3rd and a long way, Bowen throws it to the far side, trying to hit to Sando. It goes over his head, and the punt team now will come out and have to be careful here because there's not going to be much room in that end zone.
And again, there was the snap last time was over his head.
Piero gonna do the kicking. Now, they did get pressure, did Old Forge earlier on in the game. As a punter, you have to watch you don't step out of bounds as well. Oh, high snap, almost stepped out of bounds, and he is a left-handed kicker. I didn't notice that before, so not gonna be a long kick, but it gets back out to the 28-yard line, and understatement with excellent field position.
For the finest in Italian cuisine, Cafe Rinaldi, Main Street, Old Forge is the best restaurant to visit for a gathering with friends or if you need a banquet space to hold an event. Also looking for takeout? The new, long-awaited, all-new Cucina Rinaldi Bernie Avenue is now open for breakfast through dinner. Call ahead and pick up on your favorite dishes today.
So the 25-yard punt gives Old Forge the ball at the Bucks' 28-yard line. That inside handoff again, and for a big gain goes Spindler again, the junior, and Dunmore unable to stop it.
And again, this is that counter play that they ran 3 times in the first half to Spindler, and again, nice job. These guys are breaking that wing tee mindset a little bit by doing some things out of the eye and then spreading it out, but staying true to what they have to do in terms of blocking.
11-yard gain. They're inside the Allied Services red zone after the Keystone College first down. Almost the same play the other side, and Dunmore is there to make the stop. See who's on the bottom getting up slow.
77.
Yeah, that's Cicerini. He's been playing both ways tonight, and he looks tired. And Rosario is down on the field.
So you see that again. They fake the fullback going to the left and the wing back coming back for that counter, the wing counter. They're going to stick to what's working, and you got to stop us before we change it.
Okay, so Old Forge, number Let's take a look at the top 10 now in our Friday night rivals. Old Forge in there at number 5. Southern Columbia tonight taking on Bloomsburg. Williamsport was beating Altoona. Valley View was beating Delaware Valley.
North Schuylkill was
losing to Blue Mountain. And of course, Old Forge winning. Jersey Shore taking on the team next week. We'll see Selinsgrove. Prep winning. No score in Wyoming area. Crestwood, coaches checking, and Delaware Valley, of course, losing to Valley View. So you can see the Friday Night Rivals top 10 Tuesday nights on the Fox 56 News 1st to 10 with Hannah and myself.
Berwick's beating Crestwood 14-9. Jersey Shore 9-7 over Selinsgrove.
So we'll see some movement this week in that top 10.
Williamsport is actually losing 24-21 at this point in the fourth quarter.
Back on the field, Dietz has it on second down. He's up to the 10.
Brings up a 3rd down and 2.
Hezekiah Dietz just is the go-to guy for the Old Forge Blue Devils offensive, running from that tailback spot, and he just is a hard runner, and Sobel's still in there. Coach is going to put his foot on the gas pedal, and I think he wants to put an exclamation point on the scoreboard right now.
They can get a first down. On 3rd down, Sobel through. He's going to be close to a first down. He has a Keystone College first down. And it's 1st and goal inside the Allied Services red zone again for Old Forge. Neither team has scored in the second half. Dietz puts his head down and is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And they're saying, Dunmore's saying the ball came out. They're still fighting for it. There's a buck on the ground. Mikowski, who had the ball momentarily. They're going to say it's Old Forge ball. And it's going to be near the 5-yard line, and we have some more cramping on the field.
We'll see that inside. They go ISO. Evan Mikowski's limping off the field right now. Which is good to see, but again, the trainer's right there to make sure he's okay.
Again, Mikowski's played both ways tonight. Defensive tackle on the offensive line. And now we have flags. Legal substitution against Old Forge again.
5 yards. Still 2nd down.
I think 2 takeaways that coach is going to be working on this week with the Blue Devils is, 1, getting his personnel straightened out, and I think also ball security, because we've seen the ball squeeze out there a couple times and put on the carpet. So, again, it's only week 2. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's just the beginning of the season.
Old Forge situated. Dietz gets a block from Monty. Knocked out of bounds by Ruther inside, near the 5, I should say. So we'll bring up 3rd and goal now for Old Forge. Time stops momentarily. And he's actually going to be at the 7.
They like to run that outside stretch ISO, and Famonti did a really nice job. The tight end actually blocked the defensive end in, because that's the fullback's aim point, is the tight end's backside. And he came out wide. There was no one there, and then he looked for work. That's a heads-up play by Famonti.
Dietz off the left side. He's going to be short, and it's going to be 4th down now.
You'll see it again. Famonti's out of the screen, but he was out. There he is, all the way to the top of the screen, trying to get that stretch out there to allow Dietz to cut back inside.
I mean, it's right near the 5-yard line, so let's see Coach Schuback wants to do. He's taking his time. Play clock's at 15. The place kicker is Nathan Krudnitsky. We've seen him on kickoffs tonight and PATs. He's going to take this down and then call timeout. We'll take a timeout ourselves. 5:40 left in this game here in Old Forge. Bob Ide, Jan Cechak, and Hannah O'Reilly. We're in the fourth quarter here in Old Forge. Blue Devils really must have controlled this entire game from the outset. Dunmore's held in tough a little bit, and the score will be a lot larger, I think, if it weren't for a couple turnovers by Old Forge. They're knocking on the door now. It will be 4th down and goal. The scoreboard says it's about the 3. It looks like it's closer to the 5 to me from our angle.
Yeah, where the officials are standing. You are correct.
Yeah, maybe about the 4. They send the offense back out. They're missing a player. They had 10 in the huddle. Now the 11th just runs on. Plenty of time on the game clock. I hope Holtzman knows what it is. They're going to the left side, and it is Spindler out of the backfield for an Old Forge touchdown. Holtzman didn't need to know the play. It wasn't going his way.
And you'll see they went that trips open side, and again, just right out of backfield, Spindler. The ball was behind them, but that didn't matter because they were just 4 yards away from pay dirt. And again, Spindler gets another touchdown to add to his career.
And so does Sobel, his 3rd tonight.
He's showing that Old Forge is going to have a really balanced attack this year, especially with that passing threat.
Rudnitsky's kick is up and through. So Old Forge on the way to remaining undefeated on the season. They up their lead now to 28-0 over Dunmore. It will snap the 4-game series winning streak for the Bucks.
Popsy's Pizzeria is located in the heart of Old Forge, specializing in New York-style hand-tossed pizza, hot wings, burgers, and so much more. Takeout or delivery. Call 457-4100 or popsyspizzeria.com. Now we're offering $10 cheese pizzas on Sunday with an Old Forge win.
So 28-0 is the score. Put some subs now on the kickoff. Shane Schuback running the special teams for his father. Teed up by Krudnitsky, and you see it's kind of balancing on the tee. It's not really straight up and down. And it's a nice kick back to Ruggiero.
Brought down by number 20.
And as coach says, that was nobody on our roster.
It was number 20, folks, but we don't see him on the roster.
So here's what Dunmore has, and as I mentioned, a lot of teams in there that have aspirations of 3A championships, including Prep, Lehman, Mid-Valley, Wyoming area, and Lakeland. Trail's not going to be an easy task either. They're right in AA. So District 2 AA kind of wide open this year. If you look at it right now in the first week. Oh, it's pass out, incomplete, a little short. So no easy games on there. Lehman and Prep are going to be very tough the next couple weeks.
Well, Lehman is in a huge rebuild year. They lost a ton of seniors. They struggled. They lost last week. I believe they were winning 14-9. Don't hold me to that. Scranton Prep, we know, is loaded. You said London Montgomery had 300 yards in the first half. Riverside, Coach Armstrong always has those kids ready to play.
Hickey up for some tough yards. Bring up 3rd down and long.
Inside, look at that. Nice job with Hickey with the nice job with the cut. Number 56 staying with his block. So these are the things that coach, when he watches film with the kids, are going to say, nice job, good job here. But now we need to get all 11 players doing that at the same time and going in the same direction.
Then we're going to spread it out a little bit. 3-man rush. Bowen over the middle, and a couple players there, but more in blue. Good defense down there. Nick Colino, the junior, number 30, was the nearest Blue Devil.
And Danny Piga was the one that he was his intended target. That's a nice ball, but again, it could be miscommunication. It's just a timing thing with the sophomore quarterback in there, and just they have to have patience.
Timeout on the field. Team's going to talk it over. Try to get some offense for the Dunmore Bucks as they move on next week.
Saturday means one thing, and that's college football. Tomorrow's Saturday college football on Fox is Penn State at Wisconsin. Coverage begins at 10 and kickoff is at noon tomorrow, only on Fox 56.
Well, since you brought it up, you watch the Fox 56 News first at 10. You'll see my story on some of the local players on the Nittany Lions this year. They don't start. Some are on the scouts, the practice squad or the scout squad, and they just like being part of the team. Others, like Tyler Elson from North Schuylkill, Zalar from Shamokin, will see some playing time. In fact, Elson got some praise by Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator from Penn State, about how well he is progressing. He's just a sophomore, I believe. So you'll see him out there. Of course, Dom DeLuca from Wyoming area will be on special teams. Robbie Dwyer from Valley West, you'll see him a little bit on special teams. And, you know, a guy like Dan Vassy, his brother was there. He was the long snapper. He's from Wallenpaupack, of course. And he went there when his brother was there, and he said, I'll try to make the team. He went out. He might not see a regular season snap. He's in his 5th year. He came back, and he just loves to be part of the team.
There's something special about college football, but more especially Penn State. Working their camp for many years, and that atmosphere, going to a game. Just imagine coming out of that tunnel, fumble on the up.
Holtzman lost it, and it looks like Old Forge will get it back, and their offense going to come back on. So, continue.
But just imagine, Bob, 104,000 of your closest friends cheering as you're coming out that tunnel. You see that there was just a miscue on that. He didn't have his elbows in, and there it is, number 44 and 24 for the Blue Devils, jumping right on that to make sure they maintain possession.
Well, as Robbie Dwyer said, you know, it's just something you grow up. If you're a football player in Pennsylvania, right?
Absolutely.
You dream of playing at Penn State, and even if you don't take the field for a regular season game, just being on the sidelines, like you said, with over 100,000 people cheering and a whiteout, and this year will be against Auburn. I mean, that's what you dream of.
I had the honor of coaching and teaching with Tommy Olszewski from. He went to GAR down Wilkes-Barre, and he played back for Joe Paterno on a couple national championship teams. And he said it was just amazing, and the energy and the juice that you feel from that crowd.
Well, there you saw the ill-advised toss from Sobel over to Spindler, and luckily Josh was able to pick the ball up.
I'm sure it's Sunday dinner because their two cousins out there talking. Yep. They're going to be talking about that. And Sobel, that was on the cue. He let him way too far outside, and that's a timing thing. It might be that his ankle's bothering him, so he doesn't want to do a full spin on that and put that weight on there.
Spindler back dot the I, and we have another timeout. No timeout on the field, 3:25 remaining in this game. It's kind of slowed down a little bit here in the fourth quarter. But Dunmore will drop to 0-2. Old Forge head to Carbondale 2-0. And back to work this weekend for both teams, as sure both have aspirations of winning another district title. Dunmore in AA won 7 straight, and Old Forge has dominated Class A for the last few years as well. They want to avenge Steel High's win a year ago, right here on this field.
And that was a heartbreaking loss for the Blue Devils, and I'm sure Coach Schubeck and the rest of the underclassmen at the time, that was going to be their mantra for this year, that they're going to use week in and week out to get better and try different things. And we saw in offense today from the Blue Devils, they're spreading the ball out, they're throwing great. Sobel's doing a tremendous job at the quarterback, throwing darts out there. Spindler's doing a great job. I mean, you could go right down the line. But again, it starts with those 5 guys on the offensive line that never really get all that accolades that the running backs and receivers do.
Spindler, a couple blocks. Bucks come over. Nice stop by Reyes. And we talked about the series 71st game. How about Dunmore has been playing football for 112 seasons, Old Forge 105.
Whew. And I alluded earlier to you about the communities, these two communities,
how
yes. Football, it's in that community, it's in their blood, and they want their sons. And if you talk to the players, they'll talk about their fathers playing for each of these schools, their grandfathers, their uncles, and how important it is.
In the restaurants, bars, the pizza places. I mean, this is what they're going to talk about on the corners in Old Forge and in Dunmore at Dunmore Corners this week. Dietz up past the 45 as the time ticks away in this Friday Night Rivals game in the Lackawanna Football Conference. We might see a punt. Will we? Will we see an Old Forge punt? Come on, Jan.
No, Sobel's still out there. Looking at some final scores, Wallenpaupack 49-0 over West Scranton. Loyalsock came back to beat Shikellamy 42-13. Wyomissing 42, Pottsville 14. North Pocono lost to Western Wayne 27-6.
Western Wayne may make the Friday Night Rivals top 10 this week at 2-0. 2 big wins. A Loyalsock as well is in consideration.
Yes, they are.
Delaware Valley will probably drop out since they're a loss to Valley View. Crestwood's on the verge of dropping out. What's their score now?
I'm scrolling up to that one. Let's see. Lake Lehman beat Nanticoke 15-0.
Mm-hmm. So they'll head to Dunmore next week as Dunmore starts on the road for 2 weeks straight.
Berwick 14, Crestwood 9. It says fourth quarter.
So some movement in our FNR top 10. Pretty much, I think the top 6 will remain the same. Jersey Shore will have to check on their score against Selinsgrove, who we'll see next week at Shamokin.
We have a slugfest with Shamokin and Central Mountain. It's 28-27. It says third quarter, but I'm sure it's fourth quarter right now.
A long timeouts tonight. Doesn't it seem like they're longer than normal?
A little bit longer than the normal
30
second. I'm not sure what, and you can't blame TV timeouts because we're not calling them.
No, we have our inventory taken care of, as they say. Good news for Old Forge. It looks like John Greenfield was walking around on the sidelines. We'll have to see how he feels going into next week. Movement up front for Dunmore, and the flag comes in late. So I don't think they want us to leave. They're going to stay all night here.
Old Forge, they have a great crowd here. They're enjoying their Blue Devil football.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards. Still fourth down.
Our crew doing a nice job tonight. John Gumble with Hannah today.
He decided to come back. Yeah, he decided to come back from Cape May, you know, after 11 days.
Yeah, missed our game last week. Deeds powering, and with the mark, let's see where they mark it. Close to a Keystone College first down on 4th down, by the way. They were not punting. And they'll move the chains, and that should just about do it. Couple knees. And we'll put this one in the books for both teams. Week 2 of high school football and Friday night rivals. So victory formation for the Blue Devils, and really our players of the game, no doubt, will be James Sobel, 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. And Casey Holtzman, he had a big night as well, 2 touchdowns through the air.
And he was a key special teams player for the Blue Devils.
Okay, the downs still say 4th on the other side. That's why I'm laughing. They moved the chains. They moved the chains, and now I think Dunmore has the ball.
Yes.
So they
changed
didn't
to
measure.
first. Nope.
But they moved the chains. Now the ball's going they're changing the ball out because it'll be they do that all the time.
Right.
In case you're wondering, each team likes their own ball to use. Don't ask me why, but that's.
Well, the league votes on the balls. So last time it was a Wilson, and you're required to use those balls, but you bring your own balls, so that way there's never any issues.
Oh boy, at least the Bucks have the ball. Positive running. That's Pika, number 2 up forward, inside Old Forge territory. And the clock continues under a minute here.
Nice job. They just go with the simple toss play. Lead block by 29. And again, nice job. That was, again, if they just do that and mix it up, they got 2nd and short. I know the clock's running right now, but they're still playing right to the end of the game.
Same play. Keystone College first down. Pika on the move towards the end zone. Dunmore wants to score. Will they?
And touchdown.
It is a Dunmore touchdown. I couldn't tell if they were signaling he stepped out of bounds on the far side.
I was waiting for the side judge on that side,
so
too.
I was waiting for the signal. And off the toss.
Look at this toss play right here. Again, number 58, lead blocking. Great job weaving, picking and weaving, and then good burst, nice speed.
43 yards for Pika, and Dunmore gets their first touchdown of the season late here in this game at Old Forge.
So Coach McHale right now is probably that monkey's off the back. We scored, extra points up. It's good.
Eric Reese, freshman, with the honors of the PAT.
And he's in that now. It's something to build on. That okay, we scored. We know we can do it. We know we can run this play. We saw some things good, and they're just going to keep getting better because that's what's expected at Dunmore.
Well, something positive to take out for the Bucks as they head to take on Lake Lehman next week, as you said, 1 tonight.
And Lehman,
but it goes back to even that 4th down, first down call. I mean, if this was a closer game, we'd be questioning it all over the place.
Big time.
But this game is pretty much written down. It's an Old Forge win. But it was 4th down. They moved the chains. It wasn't 4th down. They give the ball to Dunmore. Dunmore scores 2 plays later.
And Coach Schuback, if it was a close game, there would have been a lot more discussion.
Yep.
You have 2 proud programs playing, and hats off to Coach McHale and the Dunmore Bucks that they are still they were fighting all the way to the very end of the game. 28 seconds. I don't think we'll see an onside kick, but you never know.
Well, I'm sure Coach Schuback, and I'm talking about Shane Schuback, is going to get his team ready probably for an onside kick.
Looking, there's a lot of receivers and skill numbers out there right now.
He is playing for the onside kick, I believe. And it's going to be Max Hunt, number 28, who will tee it up. Max is a junior. And it looks like they are, I don't know. Looks like it's a normal kickoff. Old Forge is set up for the onside.
They might just try to pull that page from Coach Schuback's book on the special teams. Kick the ball high to the numbers because there's no one deep.
They do kick it deep, and a fair catch called for by Simone. And Old Forge will have the ball and run the clock out here in
the Old Forge first down.
Veterans Memorial Stadium. A lot going on here in the fourth quarter. Kind of took our times to get to the end of this game. And a game that was dominated by Mike Schuback's team. After the game, Hannah will have our Allied Services players of the game. Casey Holtzman, James Sobel, who've had a hand almost every touchdown tonight. Holtzman with 2, and Sobel with 4, 1 on the ground. So both teams shake hands. Nice to see that finally return. The crowd here standing, giving their home team applause, and they should. They move to 2-0 on the season. Dunmore drops to 0-2, and a lot of work now for Kevin McHale's team heading into their home opener next week in Dunmore.
Greenfield looks good. John's out there shaking hands. He's walking a little limber, but that's good. They know he's going to be ready to go. They're all congratulating everybody. This is it's bittersweet for both these teams because Old Forge, they've got the studs this year, and we're looking at a future of the Dunmore Bucks that they're going to be up and coming, especially with all those young skill kids they have, and they have. Again, we know that big guy, Ruther, out there. He's 325 pounds. He's only a sophomore. He's only going to get stronger. So it's a nice thing to build on. Coach took his kids off the field because he'd rather just let's shower up and let's go.
Yep. Get the pads off, hit the buses. We'll talk on the way home. We'll talk on tomorrow or Sunday. They'll break down the film and get ready for their next game. Coach Schuback's going to give a quick discussion and talk to his team, while Hannah tries to get our players of the game. Old Forge is definitely a team, probably the favorite in A. They're going to do a sub-regional again this year. So, they may meet a Williams Valley down the line.
They usually end up playing Bristol down
there.
District
So,
1. So.
And, Steel High is still there.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the obstacle.
And that is the obstacle. But that's down the road. They have a schedule full of games coming up, including next week at Carbondale. Good to see Carbondale back on the field, by the way. They did not play last year, and Abington Heights as well. They'll play tomorrow against Honesdale. They won last week against Tunkhannock.
And Tunkhannock was beating Pittston 36-13 at this point.
So a lot of positives coming out of that. And one of the positives, too, Hannah talked about this at the beginning of the game. Of course, Coach Schuback's business flooded this week. One of the players' moms fell ill this week, so our thoughts are with her and this Old Forge team. So something out of tonight, you get a little bit of positive, and then it's back to reality tomorrow.
Well, Bob, you said, just for the last 2.5 hours, it was a nice escape. Let's focus on the field, and we'll worry about the outside world at the end of this outcome. And what a great way for the Old Forge community to start, I'm going to say healing, because again, Coach, that's a lot of stress. I mean, your livelihood, and then he's out here trying to coach these kids, and a close group community like this, and this team. You know, when one of your players' moms gets sick like that, they all feel it, and they feel for the kids. So it's nice to see them get the win, and I'm looking as they're coming off the field, they're hugging their moms and dads. Hannah's getting ready to grab our players.
She will also present her Allied Services Friday Night Rivals plaque. And it looks like Hannah is ready down there, finally with our players of the game. Hannah?
Yes, Bob, I have James Sobel and Casey Holzman, the players of the game tonight. Guys, congratulations to you both. James, I'm going to start with you. First touchdown of the game. You set the tone for your team. How'd it feel?
It felt amazing. We work on that all the time. Our up front guys, a lot of returning starters, they push the piles all the time. Our fullback, John Greenfield, helping me get in, and it's just a great feeling to get the first one in the game.
Now, was there ever a doubt in your mind that you guys wouldn't win tonight's game?
No doubt. I mean, we have a great offense, a great team, great coaching staff. I knew we were going to come out here and dominate their D.
And Casey, great game by you tonight. 2 touchdowns for the Blue Devils. What do you think worked well for you personally out there?
Play calling, definitely a big deal. They found the opening, and I was just grateful to be in that position. Front line, give James time to throw the ball. Just whole team effort.
Now, you guys had this game at 21-0 in the first half. How were you guys able to keep that momentum going?
If you could be in the locker room, you would have known. Get in there, get excited, keep the foot on the gas, and just finish out the game. We've lost pretty big games to the end, gave up, but not this one.
All right, well, congratulations once again to you both.
Thank you.
Bob and Jan, those are the players of the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Hannah. Good job tonight. So Dunmore had won 4 straight in the series. Old Forge dominates this one, 28-7 will be the score. Both teams now moving on, Jan. Old Forge wants to keep the momentum going, and looks like they found a quarterback and they're going to be multi-dimensional this year.
Which is unusual for the Blue Devils. I mean, usually it's just been that wing tee, pound and ground type of offense. Sobel, the only knock I have on him, he's an Ohio State fan. I spoke to him at the beginning of the game.
Big win for them last night.
It was, and so he was really excited. I was teasing him about that before the game. He's a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan. He really is a complete package here for Old Forge. He could step on anybody's team and do a great job at quarterback for him. The way he throws the ball, the way he reads, there's only bright days for the Old Forge Blue Devils right now.
Absolutely. Hopefully he heals a little bit. So next week, again, we talked about Jan and I and the Fox 56 Sports crew will take the ride down Route 81. We'll head to Shamokin, Kemp Memorial Field, the turf down there. They take on Selinsgrove in a PHAC Division I battle, and we'll see if both teams came in with a win. But again, they met 3 times last year. Shamokin won 2 of them. Selinsgrove would like to get a little bit of revenge. That's next Friday here, Friday Night Rivals on MyTV WQMY. Not sure what's happening on the field, but looks like a lot of celebrating and maybe something a little bit more. Great crew tonight. Alex Grossman doing a great job on camera. Ben Stout and Coy Wilson. And I want to thank John Klingerman, who's doing audio for us this year. Fantastic job by our entire Fox 56
They make us look good, Bob.
They make us sound good as well. So a big win for Old Forge here. I want to thank you for joining us. The final score once again, 28-7.
You're watching Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Dixon City Hyundai and Performance Kia.